Heaven and hell can be seen in this world. Heaven and hell. Governments in heaven. 213. As heaven is distinguished into societies, and the larger societies consist of some hundreds of thousands of angels, and as all within a society are in like good but not in like wisdom, it necessarily follows that there are also governments. For order must be observed and all things of order must be guarded. But the governments in they are of one sort in societies that constitute the Lord's celestial kingdom, and of another sort in societies that constitute the Lord's spiritual kingdom. They differ also in accordance with the ministrations of the several societies. Nevertheless, no other government than the government of mutual love can operate in the heavens, and the government of mutual love is heavenly government. 214. Government in the Lord's celestial kingdom is called justice, because all who are there are in the good of love to the Lord from the Lord, and what is done from that good is called just. Government there belongs to the Lord alone. He himself leads and teaches them in the affairs of life. The truths which are called truths of judgment are written on their hearts. Everyone knows, perceives and sees them. Therefore matters of judgment never come into dispute there, but only matters of justice which belong to life. About these matters the less wise consult those who are wiser, and they inquire of the Lord and receive answers. Their heaven or their inmost joy is to live justly from the Lord. The celestial angels do not think and speak from truths, as the spiritual angels do, because from the Lord they are in a perception of all things of truth. In respect of truths the celestial angels say, yea, yea, or nay, nay, but the spiritual angels reason about them whether it is so or not, where the Lord's words, "Let your speech be yea, yea, nay, nay, what is beyond these is from evil," are explained. Matt 5:37. 215. Government in the Lord's spiritual kingdom is called judgment, because they are in spiritual good, which is the good of charity towards the neighbor, and this good in its essence is truth, and truth pertains to judgment and good to justice. These, too, are led by the Lord, but mediately, therefore, they have governors, fewer or more according to the need of the society in which they are. They also have laws according to which they live together. The governors administer all things in accordance with the laws. They understand these because they are wise, and, in doubtful matters, they are enlightened by the Lord. Those in the spiritual kingdom are in truth, and those in the celestial kingdom are in good. The good of the spiritual kingdom is the good of charity towards the neighbor, and this good in its essence is truth. In the word justice is predicated of good, and judgment of truth. Therefore to do justice and judgment means good and truth. Great judgments means the law of divine order, thus divine truths. 216. As government from good, which is the kind of government in the Lord's celestial kingdom, is called justice, and government from truth, which is the kind of government in the Lord's spiritual kingdom, is called judgment. So in the word, justice and judgment are used when heaven and the church are treated of. Justice signifying celestial good, and judgment spiritual good, which good, as has been said above, is, in its essence, truth, as in the following passages. of peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to establish it and to uphold it in judgment and in justice, even forever. Isaiah 29. And by his kingdom heaven, as if evident from the following passage. I will raise unto David a just branch, and he shall reign as king, and shall deal intelligently and shall do judgment and justice in the earth. Job 23, 5. Jehovah is exalted, for he dwelleth on high, he hath filled Zion with judgment and justice. Isaiah 33:5. By Zion also is meant heaven and the church. I, Jehovah, doing judgment and justice in the earth, for in these things I delight. Job 9. I will betroth thee unto me forever, and I will betroth thee unto me in justice and judgment. Hos. 2:19. O Jehovah, in the heavens, thy justice is like the mountains of God, and thy judgments are like the great deep. Psalm 36. 5, 6. They ask of me the judgments of justice, they long for an approach unto God. Isaiah 58, 2. And in other passages, by David in the prophetic parts of the word, is meant the Lord. By Zion in the word, is meant the church, especially the celestial church. 217. In the Lord's spiritual kingdom there are various forms of government, not the same in one society as in another, the variety being in accordance with the ministrations of the societies. Their ministrations are in accord with the ministrations of all things in man, to which they correspond. That these are various is well known. For the heart has one ministration, the lungs another, the liver another, the pancreas and spleen another, and each sense organ another. As in the body these organs perform various services, so also there are various services pertaining to the societies in the grand man which is heaven. For the societies there correspond to these organs. That there is a correspondence of all things of heaven with all things of man may be seen in the appropriate section above. But all the forms of government agree in this, that they look to the public good as their end, and in that good to the good of each. In this is so, because all in the whole heaven are under the oversight of the Lord who loves all, and, from his divine love, ordains that there is a common good from which each individual may acquire his own good. Each one, indeed, acquires good in so far as he loves the community, for so far as he loves the community, to that extent he loves all and everyone. And as that love is the Lord's, he is to that extent loved by the Lord, and good becomes his. Every man and every society, also one's country and the church and in the universal sense the kingdom of the Lord, is a neighbor, and to do good to these from love of good in accordance with their state is to love the neighbor, that is, the neighbor is the good of these, which is the common good that must be consulted. Civil good also, which is justice, is therefore charity towards the neighbor extends itself to all things and each thing of the life of man, and to love good and to do good from love of good and truth, and also to do what is just from a love of what is just in any function whatever, and in every act, is to love. 218. From all this it can be established what kind of governors there are, namely, that they are such as are preeminent in love and wisdom, and so, from love, desire the good of all, and, from wisdom, know how to provide for its being done. Such governors do not domineer or dictate, but minister and serve, for to do good to others from the love of good is to serve, and to provide for its being done is to, nor do they make themselves greater than others, but less, for they put the good of society and of the neighbor in the first place, and their own good last, and whatever is put in the first place is held to be greater, and what is put last, to be less. Nevertheless, the rulers have honor and glory. They dwell in the midst of the society, in a higher position than the rest, and also in magnificent palaces. This glory and honor they indeed accept, though not for the sake of themselves, but for the sake of obedience. For all here know that they have that honor and glory from the Lord, and on that account they are to be obeyed. This is what is meant by the Lord's words to his disciples. Whosoever would become great among you, let him be your minister, and whosoever would be first among you, let him be your servant. As the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. Matt 20:26-28. He that is greatest among you, let him be as the least, and he that is chief as he that doth serve. Luke 22:26. 219. Also in each house there is a like government in least form. In every house there is a master, and there are servants. The master loves the servants, and the servants love the master. Consequently they serve each other from love. The master teaches how they ought to live and says what is to be done. The servants obey and perform their duties. To perform use is the delight of the life of them all. Hence it is evident that the Lord's kingdom is a kingdom of uses. 220. There are also governments in the hells, for otherwise they could not be kept in restraint, but the governments there are the opposites of governments in the heavens. They are all from the love of self, each one there wishing to dictate to others and to be over them. They hate those who do not favor them, and make them objects of their vengeance and do violence to them, for such is the nature of the love of self. Therefore, the more malicious are set over them as governors, and these they obey from fear. Number sign. But concerning this see below where the hells are treated of. There are two kinds of rule, one from love towards the neighbor, the other from love of self. From the rule that is